Hello friends, this is Scott. And the last time I left you on my flooring project down at the hobby farm, I was in the hallway here going into the cat room. And so this is where I picked up on this latest trip. I was able to go down for parts of 2 days and 2 nights. As you see, I have a little piece there underneath I still need to catch up on, but this is where I started my flooring this weekend. Last weekend I ended up with some very difficult cuts. And so once I get frustrated, I decided, you know what, this is going to be a fun project. I'm done. I'm going to quit when I'm losing brain cells and losing my temper. So I started out looking pretty good in the hallway, and I'm going to stop right there in front of the glass door as I'm going to wait to finish to the garage. But there's the most intricate cut I had to do today, and a little bit of a gap, but nothing too shabby. And I made it through the door into the cat room, and I made it all the way across. And it looks like everything is working out. So my single, clickable floor with no transitions other than doorways looks like it can be a reality. So I'm in the last room that I thought I would be problematic, minus the kitchen, which I also tried to accomplish some of that this weekend. But flooring went in well. Everything was really straight and lined up. And here was another intricate little cut that I had to do, and nothing too terrible. It took a couple tries, but I'm getting a little bit better. Again, I can't explain it to you, what I'm doing. I just have to sit and stare at it some more, and it eventually comes to shape. And so I'm into the closet, and everything is lining up and looking good. So I'm feeling pretty good about things. Now the closet just has a little bit of cuts, and I've gone up underneath the door frames. I did cut up underneath there so I could tuck the flooring up underneath it so it looks better without in places that you can't put trim. But it looks pretty nice. And again, around the edges you need to have a gap, and they'll be all covered with molding. So you always it doesn't look great until you get the molding on. But so we're into the cat room closet, and I've got a few angles, and I still have a attempted cat door to close up, but I'll get to that when I get to that. But it looks pretty good. I got down to the last row, and everything's clicking in pretty good. So here's a look at this part of the house, all finished, minus the trim. Looks pretty nice, and a little bit of glare from the sun. I still need to replace this window in this room. It's got a broken pane, but I'll get to that when there's budget and there's time. But this room's looking really nice, and this house is really looking good with all the flooring in. And the closet turned out really well, so I'm pleased. And looking forward to getting on with the kitchen dining area. And I did have more time on this trip. This was the first night's work, and this is the morning of the second day. And here's my last day before I took off, is we still have the dining room. As you see, this plywood has got a lot of stains on it, as we've talked about before, but that's what I need to accomplish. I've got to figure out how to do all this, as well as get behind appliances and see if I can do it by myself without moving all the appliances totally out of the way. But first off, I needed to paint with chalk paint all this cabinetry behind the fridge, and it turned out pretty good. As you see, I was a little sloppy, got some on the wall, but I'm not going to worry about it because, again, it's behind the fridge will be pushed up in there, and nobody will ever see that. So the first step is I need to make sure I'm lined up, and I had to make some cuts around this little bit of a bench on the side. And this is where I ran into a little bit of trouble. Now this was easy, going back, working backwards, just getting underneath the fridge. But then as soon as I pushed the fridge back in, yeah, that was a tough area, that transition right here. I was getting a little frustrated. It took me, probably an hour and a half I'd tap something in and something else would pop out, and back and forth and back and forth. And it's not perfect, but I was then able to get it pretty close. So then I pulled the range out, and it is a gas range. And I'm going to attempt to do this also without having to move the range totally out of the kitchen. So I'm just needing to clear a spot where I can go all the way to the wall. And if I can get that accomplished, then I can meander the range around and finish the flooring. Then I'll have to get up under the dishwasher. But as you see, it looks good. And you can only work so far until you have to make sure I thought I could do the dining room without doing the kitchen, but it doesn't work that way. You cannot have a board extending beyond where you've been before. So I needed to work my way into the kitchen a little more than I had planned this trip. But the dining room turned out great. And the flooring makes this home look smaller to me. It seems like it looked bigger when it didn't have the flooring, but it looks much better with the flooring. But this is where I ended up. Again, I started getting frustrated and I got tired, and it was time to give it a go, just to go to bed or get something to eat and go to bed. Now I have a little bit left, and the last of the challenges will be the range and the dishwasher. I'm going to remove the dishwasher. But there's Mr. Theo. The cats are doing great. They went through quite a bit of food this last week, but they're enjoying the heat lamp. And here is cat number 4. Again, I didn't necessarily want any cats, but they just keep showing up. And this is a cat that's been very timid, and it's finally allowed me to look at it in the garage anyway. And then as I drive home, more snow in Salt Lake City. And so I'm just headed up to do a little more shoveling. So the weather forecast in both the hobby farm area as well as Salt Lake looks like snow off and on for the next week. So got to keep on keeping on and make it down here and keep making progress while I live life and take care of my other responsibilities in Salt Lake City. So, well, thanks for watching this video. And hopefully next video I'll be done with the flooring, at least up to this point. So thanks for watching, and hope you like my journey. And if you do, please hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment, as I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.